Maybe that's like something they use for some reason to connect the two things. I have no idea. Because I sent you the URL, I think. I don't know. That's weird.
I know.
Okay, so it's live there.
Okay. It's live on your page. There you
Yeah,
are.
it's live. And then I need to share to a page.
Yeah, see, this is right. Yep. Share to a page. Yep.
Yep. There. Copy. Paste. Then I need to start a watch party.
So you start the watch party. I don't have to, right?
Yeah, I could do that.
Why? Yeah, it's weird because now I don't have that feed coming up in my phone, like where I could see the questions, but I can probably see them on Facebook. Like,
all right, let me see here. Hi, everyone that's tuning in. We're still
hey
figuring
guys.
this out. Hold on. We got to do one more thing here. Where are we?
We're working through it. Can I hit start watch party, watch together with friends or with a group? Did I just hit start?
You can hit that, but then you got to pick. International group right there. No idea, because I sent you the other thing is, and then you're gonna have to shut your volume off.
I got you. I'm on it.
Oh my God, I have to shut my volume every time. There we go. Oh my God, it's so confusing. It is a little confusing. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was way better when Facebook. I don't know why, but they killed their split screen lives for some reason. Probably so other companies can come and make an app for it and make more money off of it.
Yeah. Is anybody here yet? I can't see anything because I can't log into that thing on my.
Oh yeah. Hold on. So now you got to go to your this is all the way down. You need to find.
Sorry guys, we're working it out.
There you are. Okay, good. And you need to go to just one of the streaming and then click on it on your phone.
Yes, got it. Here we go. All right, yes. Here we go. Okay, I can see it. Thank you for watching, guys.
I can't see it on my side now. What the heck?
I can. We'll just get, I clicked on the link so I can see some of the stuff who's watching, some people coming in. Hey, Paul Jacobs is watching. We both love you so much. Hi, Paul. Yay. If anybody doesn't know who Paul Jacobs is, he's like my main mentor at the Arthur Findlay College. Thank you, Paul, for teaching me so much. I am forever grateful to you. Much love to you. Okay. Thank you for kicking my ass at the AFC in a good way.
You know what's interesting too, Sin? Because I think that there are people that probably don't know what that is. So can you just like explain what the AFC is?
Sure. So the Arthur Findlay College is an amazing, it's a spiritualist school, college in Stansted, England, where you can go study mediumship, many different aspects of mediumship, trance healing. I mean, there's so many different things, psychic ability, but its roots are in the religion of spiritualism. And if you don't know what spiritualism is, it's a recognized religion that really honors mediumship. It's an amazing religion. So I spent about 5 years going back and forth to the Arthur Findlay College to develop my mediumship, and I feel forever grateful because the foundation of my mediumship is that, and it's invaluable. Yeah, it was definitely challenging, boy. And the other thing, I think it was good for like, I'm so sensitive. Like, I remember being at the AFC and like I wanted to be like, so I wanted to be good at everything, and I would cry after class, like I did it wrong. And it's like, oh my gosh, but what it, what it really, it broke my mediumship down in a good way, and it built it up, but I also developed a backbone, because anybody wanting to go out and do this work, you have to be, I think, be strong and know, right? Like, we're in this not to be like, look at how amazing I am. We're here to serve spirit. And so ultimately that's what it's about. And I honor that very, very much. I try to the best. So yeah.
So, but was that majority of your training then came from AFC? I mean, I know you took classes here in the States too, but was majority like AFC backed?
Yeah, majority was AFC. And even I took, classes with AFC tutors in the US. I also studied with a woman named Sharon Klingler when I started. I've studied with James von Prague, but I would say the majority is from AFC. And Paul Jacobs was the tutor I studied the most with. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would you
How
definitely?
About you?
I mean, a lot of mine, I started when everything started happening, really, because I would say late bloomer. A lot of it, I was Lisa Williams, so I studied with Lisa Williams for some time there, a few months, and then after her, it's like I found Tony Stockwell, and I remember it was funny. I was in Lisa's class when Lisa showed a clip of him from YouTube, and I really at that moment I knew that I felt like that was my way of linking, you know what I mean? Like he had a very similar style that I felt. And so later on I was at the Journey Within, Janet and Havoc's church with a workshop with Tony. And before you know it, I'm talking to him after the class, and like out of my mouth just came, he said he had a mentorship in England, but it was in England, you know what I mean? And he had one spot left, and out of my mouth, just flew out, I'll fly. And he was like, what? And I was like, where the fuck did that come from? And the next thing I know, you know what I mean? I did a year in England, but I went back and forth. So I literally flew. It was a year long. So I think it was 10 times I had to fly back and forth during the year for weekend. We would work with each other on Saturday and Sundays, and then I would fly back on Monday.
That's insane. So you would go to England on a Friday and then be there for 2 days and then fly home?
Yeah, I would fly out on Thursday. It would leave the Newark, would leave at 7:30 p.m. and I would get there at 7 a.m. or something because of the time difference. Then I would take 3 trains, you know what I mean? And it was nightmare. By the time I got to the hotel, it was 1 p.m. on Friday, and I would make myself stay up because if I fell asleep, I would wake up in the middle of the night because of the time change. Yeah. We would work Saturday and Sunday, and I'd fly home. And then when I was done with that, Tony he went to an online thing too for 2 years, and he wanted, put me in there. So I was technically, mentored under him for 3 years, really.
And let's just plug, so those of you who are listening, we're talking a lot about going to England, which is right. Go to the AFC if you can, but also know if you cannot go across the pond, Janet Nohavic's church, the Journey Within, it's in New Jersey. It's Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, right? Yeah, Pompton Lakes. For those of you interested in developing your mediumship, she brings amazing mentors from, a lot of them, Arthur Findlay mentors. Paul Jacobs goes there, Mavis Patilla, Tony Stockwell, John Hollins. So many people go and do workshops at her church. It's in the United States. So it's the journeywithin.com or .org. I don't know, but I
think it's .org.
Yeah.
If you put in Journey Within Spiritualist Church in Google, it will come up.
Yeah. So for those of you who want to develop your mediumship with some really amazing mentors and mentors that we both studied with, that's a really great opportunity for you. Chris Drew goes there. I think Simon James, Simon and Brian. Yeah. I mean, so many opportunities to study here in the States. And we both teach too, right? So there's that too. I mean, everything's, online now. I mean, we're going into kind of a new age for probably the next, I don't know, year or so, but just, yeah.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good question though. Let me ask you about that. What are your feelings? And again, it's like a discussion. I'm just asking you questions what your feelings. If you don't want to answer something, please, by all means, say you don't want to go into
it.
Yeah,
ask. And I'm looking at hi, Jennifer. Love you too. Jennifer Schaefer. Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of talk now, especially we're talking about England, but we're also talking about, Janet's church, but, and that's all, again, a lot of it's spiritualism backed, right? Spiritualist backed. And so what about, American mediumship. Like lately, I've seen it come across it in development groups on Facebook or whatnot, and then people are talking about the American style to the British style. Do you see that at all, or have you heard of any of that in any development groups, or do you have any say on it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, mediumship is mediumship. What I will say is, I think people who have studied mediumship with the spiritualist church can notice another medium who has studied mediumship with the spiritualist church. The foundation of it, the way that the evidence maybe comes in. I mean, look, I can't. There's no one size fits all, but I think we could recognize that in one another, the style.
Yeah.
And then, there are talks about, well, American mediums give messages and British mediums just give evidence. And it's like, I don't necessarily see that. I see both. So I don't necessarily like this divide of American mediums versus British mediums, because like when, and especially as somebody who's traveled to different countries to see mediumship around the world, right? Like, I mean, I understand why. I understand why that discussion is being had when it comes to people wanting to study mediumship, because studying mediumship with the spiritualist church, that style is it's specific. It's it's just what it is, right? But it's amazing. But at the end of the day, it's mediumship is mediumship. I don't like this American versus British versus whatever. It's mediumship. But I do understand that discussion when it comes to talking about training, right? Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's a big part of it too. I would say the same thing. Like, I don't necessarily get into the whole divide of American and British. I've seen, I've read, sometimes I'll go into the comment section and by God, never go to the comment section.
I don't ever do that.
Like, you see that there's like a big divide about it, or there's, comments going back and forth. And really, again, I think because we both have been there and trained, you know what I mean, in that style. I know, again, Tony, when I went to England with Tony, is an AFC tutor, you know what I mean? So he's very SNU, style oriented, especially all the other British mediums that were in the mentorship. I think there was 18 of us, was just hardcore evidence.
Which is super useful, right? Like, it's so important. But
I mean, 100%. Again, I come from, as you know, I'm a skeptic. I didn't believe in any of this stuff. And so for me, evidence is so important. And I still feel like sometimes in my readings, I go over the top with evidence because I'm like trying to hammer it home, you know what I mean? Because it almost like in my own mind there. But I tend to think that there is a message though too. So I feel there is like a message that could be attached from our loved ones there, because for me, again, I'm just saying it in my perspective there, my belief. If I would die today there, and you get my daughter Mila in 20 years and she comes to see the great Cindy there as a medium, I'm hoping that, that I'm relaying to you from the other world, tell my daughter I saw her get her driver's license and she failed the first time.
Right.
But I was there, you know what I mean? Because that becomes evidential, but it's also
evidence.
It's evidence, but there's a message there too. Because I feel like it makes your sitter feel that they are truly there with us on the other side. We didn't really die. They could see us, watch us, feel us, whatever energetic presence that we have over there, that we're connected to us through the soul there, that they're there with us in that way. And they're still watching us, they're not there to live our life for us. But I would feel, for me, there would be no point of mediumship if Mila comes to you and you're like, and let's just say you didn't know me. Your dad, he was 5'11" and he had a receding hairline and he had some tattoos and he had blue eyes and he was like this. And that's all great evidence of me, right? But for me now, I would be like, well, what's the point if I can't tell you things I've seen of her? You see what I'm saying?
And I always give a message. I give a message, I think, in every reading that I give, right? But I also think the message is part of the evidence. So I don't view them as even separate from one another. I feel that if the message pertains to the person's life, that's still evidence. So I don't see the differentiation. I feel finding the strong evidence so the person knows who the heck you're talking to, then, like if you went to somebody and you said, oh, I see you just had a baby, congratulations. well, then is that psychic or is that mediumship? So it's like, but if you're feeling the presence of the loved one and you're like, you've given a name, you've given all the evidence, and then you say, you know, we see you've had the baby, right? That's different. Like, that's different. But you're right. I mean, I think the message is very, very important. I agree with you. Yeah.
And it's like, exactly. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to ask, does anybody have any questions? If you do, write some of your questions and we'll be watching the feed as we talk. Okay, go ahead, A.
No, I was saying exactly what you were just saying, actually, because it's, if you give the evidence of the communicator already and then bring it up, I mean, again, why wouldn't they know that from the other world? I mean, that soul was there with them before they came here, before that baby came, you know what I mean? And you brought through evidence of the communicator, name, serial rank, whatever you want to say, you know, blood type of the person, there, whatever evidence that you're giving.
You're a type A, B, negative.
Yeah. And then you bring up how, you know, dad got that child, you know, hold the child first, and you're bringing through the dad from the other world, you know what I mean, that there was just a baby. Then again, why wouldn't, again, I would have to think that soul's there with them.
Right.
That soul's there. It's not just a psychic hit.
Yeah.
There in some sense.
How about on the West Coast for studying? Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people teaching West Coast. Lisa Williams has a great website where she lists, she does a huge mentorship program, and she has a list of all the mediums that have passed her certification and training, and they're all over the US. That's a go-to for sure. Thank you. I saw you guys together. We must have saw an event. Susan Slamka, somewhere we did an event together that Susan came to. Thank you for coming. So let's start a new topic. For those of you, we've just talked a lot of, do you both sit in the power as a lot of teachers speak about, or do you have another practice? That's a good question. Those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, because we're talking to a lot of mediums right now, like the general public is like, what is sitting in the power? It means sitting in with spirit, sitting in meditation, sitting in the power, feeling the power, the presence of the spirit world, sitting in that and having discipline. I do not sit in the power every single day. I don't. I do a lot of yoga. I do some meditation, but I'm a bad medium. I do not sit in the power every day. How about you, Anthony?
I don't. You know what? It's funny. I would call it sitting for spirit.
Sitting for spirit. Right.
Yeah. Like I don't sit in the power in the sense of, like, again, I'm going back to British style, Glenn Edwards. I believe I had his recording of it, and I think it was him that started it, if I'm not mistaken. But don't kill me, Paul, if you're watching that. So that to me was like an active, you know what I mean? It's like pushing your energy out, or, you know, seeing the light and pushing it out and being one kind of with everything. I just actually sit for spirit. So I'll literally take, you know, 15, 20 minutes usually, and I'll just sit and ask spirit to come forward and allow them to use me as they feel needed to do. You know what I mean? Like, just creating the time. It's not meditation either. So I want to be real clear. It's just
It's not
sitting in the silence of, I'm not trying to actively do anything, and I'm allowing the spirit world to kind of blend with me and energize within me in some way, and see. Sometimes I get nothing. Sometimes I feel like it's weird. Sometimes I feel like they're washing my energy. It's really weird.
Well, you know, I do automatic writing every day. That is something I do every single day, and that is channeled writing. That's I honestly think that's my strongest faculty. That is what really burst open the floodgates for me in around 2007. I mean, I'd always had this ability since I was very young, but that's what did it. And so I do sit and do automatic writing and connect in that way every single day. So it's not sitting in the power, it's not meditation, but it's my way of connecting in. Mm-hmm.
Sitting for regular people that are listening in or watching, what do you think one myth is about mediums?
What do you mean?
A myth, like something that.
Oh, I thought you said misses. I was like, wait, how could you miss this?
Myth.
No, okay. A myth. There's so many. I mean, okay, here's a good one. I mean, I think the way that mediumship is depicted on television, like, and look, I love these shows. I'm not knocking them. They're very fun to watch, like The Ghost Whisperer, the show Medium, the movie The Sixth Sense, amazing shows. I love the movie. But what people don't understand is the subtlety of the way the messages come through. I think a myth is that we are sitting there like I'm talking to you and looking at you, having a full-on conversation with the spirit, and that's the way that it works. And then if that's what people believe is happening, then of course they would think, well, how come you can't get everything, like I'm talking to you, right? So we are constantly having to explain that to people, that it's more subtle because we're seeing, which is clairvoyance, we feel clairsentience, we sometimes hear clairaudience or clairsentiently hear a word thought, or we, there's all these different things that are hitting us. And then we have to lean into that or feel into that and then give a message. So that is a huge misunderstanding. And it's not anybody's fault because that's all they're seeing on television. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand why people think that way. Yeah. How about you?
I mean, yeah, I would say the same thing. I think it's that word, we should know everything. You know what I mean? Like we should just be able to know everything about something or someone, or the traditional kind of cheesy line when someone talks to you the first time and you tell them what you do. Oh, do you feel anything around me? You know what I mean? I'm like, no, it doesn't really work that way. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm not turned on to try to tune in with you there in that sense.
Yeah. There's a good question. So I was listening, but how would you give a reading via tele-platform? Great question. So we both do private readings. I hadn't done them for a long time, but now that I'm on lockdown, I'm doing them again. We can do readings, FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, phone, because the energy is here, right? Right. So it works. And then a lot of people are thinking now, well, how? Because you and I both do live events that, right? Now we can't do those for, hopefully not too long, but we can still do them on Zoom. We could have a full Zoom and still be able to do gallery reading. So it's possible. And that's really cool because it's energy. Okay. Okay. All right. We answered that. You're welcome, Brian. Thank you for watching. Oh,
here
go ahead.
you go. Laura is asking, have you ever had evidence from spirit that made no sense for a sitter to the point it was embarrassing?
Oh, that happened today. Wait, let me explain this. So no, it wasn't really embarrassing. I mean, it's not embarrassing, but that's a good question. So today I had like 4 readings back to back. So my first reading, I'm talking to this woman and I'm naming these people and she's like, no. I'm like, man, this is weird. I'm like, God, this is embarrassing. And then like I was getting, I was doing some psychic stuff, but then the next reading, all of the people that I was talking about from the first reading were the whole family for the people from the second reading. So I'm actually grateful for those experiences because it shows me, okay, spirit world is there. I mean, I wish that I had not picked up on the second readings, people with the first reading, but it happens. But it happens sometimes, right? And that's what it is. Yeah. So, but then it was funny. And then I called the lady from the first reading. I'm like, I guess what happened? I was reading somebody else's family and they showed up early. Sorry. Let me, let's take another stab at this. So, yeah.
Again, I think that's a myth too, to be honest with you, like that we're always supposed to be so good every time. You know what I mean? Like, I think I say it all the time to other students too. We can have bad readings. You can have bad readings. We can have bad information. I think there's so much that goes in to a reading, or there's so many ingredients actually that needs to happen in a perfect blend of everything between us, between the spirit world. You know what I mean? How you're feeling physically. That whole thing. I feel like takes precedence, and we can have bad readings. Shoot.
And I feel too, you're right about our energy, right? Because I feel that we as mediums have to be mindful of where we're at. If we're having a day where our energy is just like, nope, like maybe we should not just be like, today is not a good day. I mean, that's our responsibility, but you're absolutely right. And I think another part of that is letting go and surrendering, and knowing that it is what it is. I mean, it's a lot of pressure sometimes, right? I mean, it can feel that way. Yeah. Ooh, what greater message is the universe sending with the virus and the mass global changes that we are all implementing? That's a big one. There's so many messages. Well, first I want to say we are creatures on Earth, and microbes rule the world. We've had hand sanitizer for a really long time. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but we have had some hand sanitizer and a lot of things preventing this. This is a little bit overdue, but I think this is a good time for us to go inside ourselves and reflect. People who have followed me for a long time know that I haven't haven't stopped moving for about 7 years. And now I'm looking at this as an opportunity to get some priorities straight, to balance. And, you know, we're all being forced to sit down. Almost all of us. Look, and thank you to all the healthcare workers who are out there risking their lives. Thank you for all of that, for the people out there working, and much love is going for the people who are suffering. So that is not, neither of us are ignoring that. But most of us are being forced to settle down. And I think it's a good opportunity for us to reframe our thinking and try to be positive and send love. So what's your take on it?
Yeah, it's, you know what, I think that I don't buy into like some of the conspiracy stuff either. And as much as I am a medium, I sometimes don't buy into all the woo-woo stuff. I do feel like exactly what you said. I feel like it's somehow, some way forcing a lot of people to look at their shadow side. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are going through their own stuff right now, you know what I mean? But staying in, not being able to work, having to deal with things that they never had to deal with really, because they were easily, you could get lost in work, or you can get lost in, you know, other addictions or whatever the case. Now everyone's kind of stuck inside. So I do believe that it's forcing everyone to look at, at the shadow self in some way. There. And again, I do believe that there's some sort of new energy that will evolve from it. I know Susan's asking, I know she asked before when we went, when we were testing our awesome abilities of technology.
Sorry,
that
was an embarrassing moment.
Yeah, any insight into it, and the only thing I would say is, the insight that I feel like I've been saying, or someone had asked me, I don't really go and share predictions. I just feel like sometimes by mid-May or towards the end of May, I feel like we're finally starting to come out of this. And by June, I feel like we're starting to potentially leave the home again there. And I don't think it's away at that point, but I feel like something has been found or something. But I do feel like we're starting to get back together as a country and moving forward.
Yeah.
Starting to return to work and all that other stuff. I think it's going to be a long time to rebuild there. And I'm hoping that it doesn't come back in the fall, but I kind of feel like
I think it will. Yeah, unfortunately. But let's talk about the shadow side, right? That's really important topic. We're both, everyone has light and shadow. And I feel like as people who work as mediums, we're expected to always be in the light. If we have a day where we're a little spiritually unfit, we fall harder for that in the eyes of others. I think that needs a reality check, because we all have light and shadow, right? I mean, in my opinion, ultimately the goal is to love your shadow and love your light and bring the two together, because the more you run from the shadow, the darker the shadow can become. So it's about embracing the entirety of our being and who we are. And it can be hard working in a spiritual field where the perception is that we're somehow spiritually enlightened. I mean, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, we're people, right? We're humans that have an ability to experience the spirit world, but we're still humans, still working through our stuff. What's your take on that?
I mean, yeah, everything that you're saying is 100%. I feel, again, I would never want to be put in that light, you know what I mean? The sense of the spotlight, like Mr. Spirituality, because I'm just not,
right.
Like,
I know.
Like as a medium, I don't have all the answers. I deal with my own stuff, again, I know you're similar, but I don't know what, my story is, of addiction and having to do a lot of work on myself through my addiction to get sober. And not only get sober, but to stay sober through, 12 steps of a 12-step program. And besides that, because that wasn't even enough, looking at like inner child work and all this stuff, EFT tapping and meditation, affirmation, it's like it's constant, strive.
It doesn't end.
And yet I still say fuck, you know what I mean? Like, and I still post funny, spiritual, stupid stuff, you know what I mean? And it's so. But it's interesting what you said, because I will say in the beginning, I remember like earlier on in my journey, not only as a medium, but in spirituality too, there. And I see mediumship and spirituality totally two different things.
Yeah. No, they are. Yeah.
And so, the work in my spirituality, in some sense, like, I always felt like I thought that I would have to defeat the shadow. You know what I mean? Like the egoic mind. I think of the shadow as part of the egoic mind, And yet now I learned you have to blend them together. You have to be okay with your dark side and love the dark side, and kind
It
of
needs love, right? Yeah.
like to merge the two of them to become more ourself, or more in our power, because we all have a good and a bad side. You know what I mean? Jung speaks about
And
it.
is it bad? Like, is it bad? See, because right, we have the potential, right? And somebody wrote a question, how would you suggest integrating your shadow? I mean, I'm still working on that. I think what's been happening for me over the last, I would say 14, 15 months, is doing some deep work on myself, and then clearly seeing my shadow and being like, oh my God. And then instead of running from it, saying, oh, I don't need to judge that so much. Yep. We all have it. Once I stop judging it, and I that's the integration. Though when you stop judging your shadow and you love I feel like that's how it can come together. I mean, look, I don't have all the words for it. I feel like I'm a newbie. I always feel like I'm a newbie in some of this stuff, right? It's a constant. Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
Wayne Dyer had a great quote, and I don't know if it was his or not. I just remember him always saying it, and I always think of it because I think of it for myself. All I know is I know nothing. This way,
Right.
I remain teachable. You know what I mean? Because I just remain teachable because I don't know the secrets of the universe. I wish I did. I don't.
I don't know if I even want to know. I mean, sometimes I do.
I want to know.
Maybe I do too. I'm lying. That was my shadow lying. Wait a second.
Yeah. I want to wait. Let me just get to Richard had a question before earlier, and I did see it, and I thought, oh, let me ask Cindy that. She was just asking how many readings you would do a day, private sittings a day. He was asking me and you, so you go.
Yeah, I do 4. That's my max. Because I used to do like 9, and I thought I was going to die. I just like, I know what my body can handle, and it's 4. And then I'm like, okay, that's all I can handle. And, that's being responsible, also taking care of myself, but being fair to the people coming for readings, because you don't want to show up on reading 5 and be totally depleted. And that's not fair. So, 4, that's my number. What's yours?
Same thing. Yeah, 4. What's
up, Susie? Hey, Susie girl. What up? Susie called me a wuss for only doing 4. Hey, So somebody was asking about what's the difference between spirituality and mediumship. I'll let you take that.
Say it again. What's
the difference? Why is there a difference between mediumship and spirituality?
Oh, that's interesting, because I think I've seen a debate about that, actually. So I'm just going to give you my experience and my opinion on it. And again, it really comes through my own filter, I guess, of how I would live my life. Mediumship to me is, being sensitive enough that we are so sensitive that we can connect with energy from the other world. So loved ones that have crossed over, by bringing through evidence of the continuation of the survival of the soul, really. So the consciousness survives death. We're able to connect with those people, bring through loved ones, evidence of who they were, messages, and everything else, and what they're seeing of the world now. That's mediumship to me. Spirituality to me really would be kind of peeling back the layers of an onion, there, getting that back really to the core of self,
Yeah.
of the soul, the self. I would say I don't know if I want to call it large self, but not the small self. The small self technically to me would be like the ego mind, you know what I mean? Or maybe the shadow aspect there too. So spirituality to me, and again, there's a real difference. That's what I'm saying. You could see people want to debate about it in some way. I'm not talking about new agey spirituality either. I'm talking about core fundamental, like spirituality was around from when Jesus, and probably before him.
Way before. It's been here since the beginning of
beginning of time, or recorded as far recorded history as we know. I think new age, new thought, new age stuff came, way later. I think it really blew up probably in the 60s and 70s. But so I just see them as two different. Spirituality, I think, is peeling back the layers of the onion to get to the deeper part of myself and how I function as an individual, how my consciousness is, how the shadow is in that way. And I think when you merge the two of them, that's even better.
Yeah.
You know, as a medium, I think when you have that fundamental understanding and you're working on yourself, I think you're going to be a better medium or better.
Yeah. And that's what I teach. I feel we as mediums, our mediumship can become so much deeper when we heal ourselves. It's such a fundamental key. You don't have to be super spiritual to have the ability as a medium. I mean, you don't. You can have the ability and send spirits, but it doesn't make you a spiritual person. And I found throughout the years, the more work that I've done on myself, because and I'm trying to find the right way to phrase it. The more comfortable I felt about myself, the safer I felt within myself, if you want to call safety, whatever, right? The deeper I've been able to go into trusting spirit and totally, it's about surrendering. It's about surrendering to the experience. So if you're carrying a lot of anxiety or you need to control everything, right? And I struggle with that sometimes, but that's the space where you're not fully having the soul to soul communication, excuse me, with the spirit. It could be mind to mind, but that blend of the soul to soul, that's the golden nugget where you can really just be in it, right? Surrender. Mm-hmm. Do either of you sit for or practice physical mediumship? No, not me. It's not my jam. It's amazing. It's not my gift. And I'm okay with that, but it is amazing to see a physical mediumship. If those of you who don't know what that is, it's the deepest form of trance, physical mediumship. So medium is in the deepest form of trance and things start happening around ectoplasm, things move. I mean, yeah.
It's phenomena.
Yeah.
You know, weird things start happening. I don't do it either. I don't have, you know, again, it's not, I just don't have the desire to do it. You know what I mean? I'll sit for a trance meditation once in a while, or maybe once a week there, but I don't,
I think trance for me, I think I don't even know that it's my one of my abilities, but I also think I'm still in that stage where like, I like to know exactly what's happening.
So you could say you're a little bit of a control.
I'm a little bit of a control freak. It's my shadow. What can I say? I own it. Okay.
Yeah, I will say, Allie's asking, yes, you can. Well, she's going back to what we were talking about, or there's a delay that I'm seeing it. You can be one or the other. You can just be a really great medium and not spiritual, you know, or you could be very spiritual and not be a medium. I mean, you could have one or the other. So she's just asking.
Yeah.
To clarify.
And spirituality and religion aren't even exactly right. I mean, it's like we could have a whole talk on that, like for an hour, all of it, right?
Yep. Well, you know, it's funny too, because when people think, I mean, a lot, again, people hear spirituality, we know that spirituality isn't technically religious, but when we first got on, you were talking about spiritualism. Spiritualism is a religion.
Right. Different. So I hear some people say I'm a spiritualist, and I think what they're meaning to say is I'm spiritual. Like I've heard those things interchanged. Yeah. So there's a difference. Yeah. Yep. Any more questions coming in? Any more questions?
I'm just wondering if everything goes to one area. I'm going to look at my other thing because I know I shared.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm on one, and I'm posted, and I think I'm on yours, Anthony. I don't even know. Sorry, guys. Don't know how to really navigate this. We're learning it as we go. How long
there is different comments. Oh, we're learning as we go. Sorry, guys. Can you see on your phone? It does say, it says live video comments, and then it says watch party comments.
Oh, crap. Sorry, watch party peeps. We're not trying. Anthony, take it away. I'm totally lost. I'm so lost. Okay. I'm a little bit lost. Okay. I don't even know how to get out of this screen. Okay. Now we're over here. This is a fun time. Now I'm on my professional page. Sorry, guys. Please love us anyway. We're getting it. We're getting it. Okay, here we go. Oh, the watch party. Okay. Oh, okay, here we go. Any tips for automatic writing? Okay. Hey, what's up, Matt? How are you, buddy? How's it going? Matt Ski, good to see you. Okay. Any tips for automatic writing? Yes. So really automatic writing is to do with simply allowing the pen to move and let it come through you. So when people watch the Holzer Files, by the way, I've got to plug my show, the Holzer Files on the Travel Channel. We're filming season 2. We're a little bit on a hiatus because of what's going on. We'll be back filming. It will air, towards the end of the year. But anybody who's seen me on the Holzer Files and has seen me do automatic writing, you know, what it is channeled writing. So I remove myself from it. So I'm seeing the information come out the same time everybody else is seeing it come out. So yeah, I mean, it's a form, I think, of maybe a lighter trance, because I don't have control over what's coming out. I'm letting it happen. So I guess my advice would be to completely allow yourself to kind of let go and allow the pen to move. And when I first started, it happened really fast to me. I have to say that was something that happened very fast for me. But I know other people who have done automatic writing or tried, sometimes they just start and the energy moves and they draw shapes or they draw something and then it turns into words and then it becomes sentences and then they can go with it. So it's about letting go. Yeah.
How long did it take you to actually like really kind of develop that?
It was so fast. I have to honestly say, like, it was something that I did it once, then I did it again, and then it was there. It was one of those things for me. It just happened that way. It just happened. So I think it was in me waiting to come out. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Jen Collins. I love you. Yosef. Hey, buddy. Terry. Oh my gosh. Love you all. Now I'm seeing all this whole different feed. Hey, Monica. Unless these are the old things coming in from before, but different feed. Okay. So what do you want to wrap up with, Anthony? Like, do you have,
let me ask you this. Here's my question. And it's honestly, it's so cool. Like Cindy, like messaged me today, like, you want to do live tonight? And it's so funny because I've been thinking like for the past like couple of weeks about, before actually this whole started, about, I used to do like a blog talk show. So you kind of like kicked my butt to try to figure this technology thing out here too as well. But I would always want to ask this question because I feel like I ask everyone, where does mediumship go? Or do you feel mediumship evolves in some way?
Ooh, you know, and I say this saying, I got it from my friend Jennifer Schaefer. And the saying is, because she's also an amazing psychic medium, and I love what she said. She said, our jobs as mediums, you know, our job as a medium is done. Can't even talk. I've been so busy today. Our job is done when nobody has to come see us anymore because everybody's having their own experience. That's when our job is done. So does mediumship go anywhere? No, mediumship is always there, but I feel like everybody, I hope there's some awakening where people are more into their awareness. Do I know if that's actually, if we're going to get to that space? I don't know, but I feel that's the space we should strive to be in. I'm of the belief that of sharing and empowering people to find the light within themselves. Yeah. Because the expression of mediumship doesn't just have to be the way that we do mediumship. It doesn't have to be an event. It doesn't have to be a one-on-one. It can be through art. It can be through, so many artists are mediums and they're channeling painting. So many writers are channeling books. Musicians are channeling music. I mean, this stuff has been happening forever, and it comes in many shapes, sizes, forms. There's and that's the message I want to give to people, is that find your light, find your channel. It doesn't have to look like mine. It doesn't have to look like yours, and it doesn't have to look like the next person's, but I really believe that. I mean, I believe that it's in all the great teachings. It's in all the great teachings of the masters.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe, you know? Yeah.
Terry's asking about, how about me and Cindy have done in-person classes together. So maybe we'll do another in-person class somewhere.
Totally.
Online thing.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. Maybe we'll do an online class. Maybe we'll do a hologram class. That's where mediumship is going. We're going to all start holograms, and then we're going to transport ourselves or hologram and go right to your house and give you a reading, hologram style.
That's so funny.
Thank you, Betty Milazzo. Thank you for watching the show. And she loves you too, Anthony. Oh, thank you, Brenda Andrews. Hey, she said, would love if you'd have a gallery on Zoom. Do you want to have a gallery on Zoom with me, Anthony? Would you like to be my Zoom gallery medium date?
Maybe one day.
What do you mean? You're supposed to say yes. This is so disappointing.
You know what it is? Listen, I get it. I get the whole, wanting to do online. It's just so impersonable to me, though. Like, listen, I get it too, because I do privates, right? We both do private. We were talking about, and I know you're doing them again because you're stuck. But even when I do phone or a Zoom or video call, Zoom video call is a little better. But I just feel like it's just a weird thing for me, but I would totally do it because I'll surrender to spirit.
So that's saying yes. I'm saying yes for Anthony because he's giving me a half yes, but I think he'll show up if I invite him. So
Totally.
yes. Okay.
Yep. Natalie's saying we need an in-person again.
But we will do an in-person. We will. Yeah. We'll do a Jersey or something or wherever, unless you guys want to come to Denver.
We'll figure it out.
Everybody can.
Maybe we'll go middle of the country. So like West Coast and East Coast can kind of meet up somewhere.
I think altitude will help people's connection because they'll be like out of it. They're like.
Every time I go to Denver, I get the worst headache ever. Like ever. Every time I fly in there for that day.
Okay. We're trying to take some last questions. I'm trying to think, what do I want to ask Anthony? Where do you see mediumship going? I want your take on that.
I mean, I love what you said. I was looking at it from a different perspective. I know that we've talked about that too. So I think that there's a whole aspect of with our individual mediumship that unfortunately technology is ruining mediumship to some degree there. And I feel that the spirit world clearly would already know that. And that our evidence changes up, or I think as we evolve, technology evolves, I think that spirit needs to evolve our evidence.
I get what you're saying. Yes, I agree with you on that. Yes.
Majority of regular people, unfortunately, and I'm sure there are people out there that do it, most people would think that we look them up, or a lot of people think that right? Mediums, and because of technology now, it is all, you know what I mean? I could see why people would think that. So what I was saying, like, as we evolve, technology evolves, I do believe mediumship evolves in some way, because giving some of the traditional evidence isn't good enough anymore, because people feel like you could find that a lot of that stuff online.
And that maybe that's where we step in as teachers and we help people find their own light. Because I also am of the belief that when you're giving somebody a reading, they have to also feel, there has to be a feeling with it, right? Like somebody could come watch an event and we could give evidence, and it could be correct and people are crying, but this person didn't get a reading and they're still questioning it. Like, I think empowering people to feel spirit on their own, to awaken their own light within, that's where that shift comes in, because that's where people can feel it around them without technology, without all of this other stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, but I totally understand what you're saying. We have to think going forward, what is our purpose as people who have been in this field for a long time? What are we going to co-create with society? What are we here for? Right. Yeah. So there's a greater purpose to all of it, I believe. Yeah.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Karina's asking, have you done a gem with another medium and your energies don't connect with other medium? Curious. Totally. I have. I will say, working with Cindy is, for me, I feel like my energy and Cindy's energy mesh well. I don't know, on Cindy's perspective, I could say this, because even when I've double linked with Cindy, I've double linked with other mediums now at this point, there with a bunch of other ones, and for some reason there's something about when me and Cindy double link, it's just so easy to get into her energy for some reason, or for us to work together in that tandem type thing.
Don't call me easy.
No, I don't mean. But I've worked with some other mediums that it's just like it's like a weird energetic, like you're kind of pushing against each other in some way instead of a flow.
Totally. And I agree with you, and I love working with you, and it is true. Sometimes it just is what it is. And for those of you who don't know what double linking is when two mediums connect in with the same spirit on the other side at the same time, and usually both give different evidence, but it's still for the same spirit on the other side. So we can do that. It's pretty cool when you see it working. It's like, it's to see what each medium brings out from the spirit world and gives. It's really cool to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Any last questions?
Here, I got you one here. Deborah says, I feel sitters should feel the emotions and essence of communicator along with evidence. Do you agree?
Well, that is evidence. The essence and the emotions that's evidence. So, right. You should feel the communicator, like, right. That is evidence. So the emotions is clairsentience. That I think the essence would still technically be clairsentience, right?
Yeah,
you're feeling it, or I guess you could still find all that through clairvoyance, clairaudience, right? But that's still evidence. So yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Yeah, it's multi-faceted. I mean, that's like their good soul connection. If you're feeling emotions and the essence of the communicator with evidence, that is medium. That's
mediumship.
Good mediumship.
Right. Okay, Anthony. Let me think of one last question to ask you. I don't know. I don't know what I want to ask you. I'm just enjoying this. It's really fun. Oh, yes, I do have a question.
Uh-oh.
So, some people talk about like, cause I know you use cards, right? Like you're so good at using cards. It's so badass. So I would like you to explain to people how you use tarot cards for mediumship and also psychic readings. Cause you use them a lot and you're really good at it.
Yeah. I will say this. So mediumship as evidential mediumship, I don't use cards. So when I'm working with the spirit world loved one, I don't use cards in there in that sense or in that way. But with psychic stuff, I will, especially if I know anything about the person. I'm the traditional, like, I don't, I love it when skeptics are like, well, they knew each other. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather not know anything about anyone when I do a reading. You know what I mean?
Good. That's a good myth. Yes. Keep going.
Yeah, that's a great myth. Cause I'm like, no, it actually makes it harder for me to do a reading because then I feel like, am I getting in my logical mind because I know that, or is that really getting that from the spirit world? You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. But with psychic readings, the same thing with I use regular traditional Rider-Waite tarot cards, what I would call tarot. But I had a lady many years ago teach me, the generalized meaning of it. I'm not a card reader in the sense where, some people read them up and some people read them, if they're faced one way and upside down. I just read them purely for scrying the energy of the card. So as I flip the card, I see the picture. It kind of works with my intuition and I could feel deeper into the card. And that's where I feel like I pick up more of the story of the sitter's life there in some way. And again, that's going to be psychic. But I do feel like even when I do that, and I've always felt that from the first time I ever did a reading, I always felt that it was never really just me getting information. I always felt I was receiving information from someplace above me.
And that's another good talking point. We got to do a part 2 of this because that is a really good talking point. Like, that's a great talking point.
Yeah, it's like, because people don't understand, I think, the difference between psychic, mediumship, and I mean, mediumship is just a conduit between two worlds, right? And so when we talk about our mediumship, we're thinking of evidential mediumship, you know what I mean, of bringing to loved ones. But, you look at someone like, I always bring him up, Paul Selig, who's a phenomenal channel, that's written all these books at this point or dictated them, but he's a medium. You know what I mean? He's just a medium between two worlds and a collective group of guides, you know what I mean, that are trying to help humanity.
Still mediumship.
Still mediumship. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, Betty, we will do a part 2. Hey, Anthony, are you in for part 2?
Absolutely.
So wait, what day is today? Is today Monday? This is my quarantine brain. I don't even know what day it is.
Today is Monday. Yes. Yeah. Today's Monday.
Maybe we can do next Tuesday again, same time, same place.
Wait, Tuesday I have readings.
Oh, okay. Well, we will do a part 2. We'll figure it out. So we'll let you guys know.
Yeah, you could do it like a Wednesday, or we'll figure it out and we'll post it.
Yeah, and we'll post it. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. And this was really fun. And I have so much respect for you, Anthony. And thank you for agreeing to do this with me. I love you. So it's been awesome to do this. Yeah. And thank you all for watching. I'm just going to give myself a quick plug. Obviously you're watching me, so you're on Cindy Kaza or Medium Cindy Kaza, but I am on a show called The Holzer Files on the Travel Channel. Season 1 is on On Demand, Hulu, Amazon Prime. We're filming season 2 currently. We're on a hiatus, but we'll be back. And the show, if on stays on schedule, should be airing by like September, October, right around that time, I think. So yeah, anything you want to plug?
Oh, you're on? No, I'm okay. You're on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime now too?
I think. Oh crap, I hope so. I'm pretty sure.
I told you we had to download or we had to upgrade my TV package so we could watch your show for the Travel Channel, but then we got rid of it because you're not on it no more. So
but
when
I'm
the second
coming
season comes out, I know, but then I'll up my TV package then too. It's like we don't watch that much. Nowadays you everything's Netflix and you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
So, but I'm like, oh, if it's on Amazon Prime season 2, I'll then just get it from Amazon Prime.
Yeah. So you don't have to have cable to watch the show, but watch the show. Yes.
Absolutely.
So, all right. It's been awesome, Anthony.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
God bless you all, right? Everybody stay safe. I know it's a hard time for so many people. We both know that. I know it's hard to be home. I know people are losing loved ones. Like there's so much happening. It's so intense. So, sending you all so much love during this time. And we really are in this together. I mean, that's just not something that we're saying. We're really all in this together. So we have a responsibility to reach out to one another, reach out to your friends and your family. If somebody's depressed, right? Just reach out. Because people are there to hold you. So yeah.
I always say this at the end of every group event I do when we're in person is love now. Same thing with like Cindy's saying, just to tag on that is, again, we are here now and we have the ability to reach out in every form imaginable now through DM, text message, phone call, email. I mean, we're just so connected, like hyperly connected now. Call someone, let them know how much you love them now. Because you just never know. You really just never know. My mom, I actually got a call from my mother last night at night, and one of her friends just was going up the steps and passed away. Like,
oh man,
was like, what? You know what I mean? So I always say love now. Call your loved ones, let them know, send them a message, do whatever, but don't wait until it's too late.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you hopefully next week at some point. Anthony and I will work it out, and we will post it ahead of time.
Yeah,
so definitely. You have enough time to prepare. This is just a really impromptu kind of let's do this. So yeah.
I think we figured out our technology issues.
I think so. We'll see. Maybe let's add a third person next week and make it even harder. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.